All right, everybody, and welcome back. In this video, we'll be talking about the 10 C's of survivability, and I'm going to be adding on my additional 3 at the end to kind of give you a mentality of what I look for. But in the bushcrafting world, in the survival world, this is a very well-known belief system of the 10 C's. Now, the 10 C's just makes it easy for people to remember the type of gear they need. Like, for example, the first one would be a cutting tool. If you're in a survival situation, you need to have some type of cutting tool to create shelter, right? Because that's our first priority. We also need a cutting tool to be able to harvest water if needed from certain types of methods, how to harvest wildlife for our food. So cutting tool is very important in those 3 priorities. And then next it would be combustion, because you need fire. You need fire for warmth, for purification, water. You need fire for cooking food. So having a type of combustible device, such as a lighter, Zippo, Bic, whatever the case may be, maybe even a match. But you need to have some type of ferro rod or striking capability to create fire. So cutting tool, obviously, and then combustion. Next would be some type of cover, like I was talking about, your shelter. Your first form of shelter would be your clothing, but having another type of cover, tarp, would be a good basic thing, because in the videos later I will show you how to make different types of tarp shelters, but having some type of cover for that shelter. So now we have a couple things focusing on shelter, and moving forward, like a container. So we need a container to hold the things that we need. Water, we need to boil water, so we need to have a container to hold that water. We need to cook things, so we need something to hold that food while we cook. So the next C would be cordage. I personally suck at creating natural cordage, getting yucca leaves and vines and processing fibers. Like, I suck at it. So knowing my weaknesses, I can now plan, and I know I'm going to have more cordage. I also have a tool that helps bypass the need for a lot of cordage, which I'll show later. But cordage is another very important C, because you will need it to fashion shelters. You will need it to sometimes procure water. You'll need it to procure food. So make sure you have some cordage as well. Candlelight. Candling, something that creates light, headlamps, flashlights, matches, candles. There's a bunch of different ways that you can create light. Now, if you have teacup or those little tea lights or whatever they're called, that can be light. It also can be fire starter, things of that nature. So having some type of light source for candling is also one of the top C's. A cotton bandana is also really good to have, because with a cotton bandana, you can use it for first aid. You can use it to create fire. There's a lot of different uses that you can have with an all cotton bandana. A compass. What I tell people, if you're traveling, have a map. Have your phone, a map on your phone if needed, but have a physical map if at all possible. And with a map, you need to have a compass. But even without a map, if you have a compass, you can always figure out where you are and what direction that you need to go. Okay, so say I just left town, I'm heading south through the woods, I have a flat breakdown. I know that if I just turn around and head back north, because I was heading south, then I'll get back to town. I'll get back to a road. So having a compass will definitely help, but learn how to use that compass. Cargo tape. Cargo tape, you can use this for first aid. You can use it for repairing things. You can even use it as tinder to create fire. So cargo tape is also a very good, important piece of the puzzle as well. Lastly, on the basic 10 C's is a canvas needle. Now, a canvas needle, you can use it for your injuries, stitching yourself up. You can use it to repair clothing. You can use it to repair canvas, tarps, tents, whatever the case may be. And then if you're in a bushcraft situation where you are processing leather, then you can use that to create different types of clothing for long term as well. So those are the 10 C's of survivability. Now I'm going to add in my additional ones. My first additional one is going to be care. You have to have a first aid kit. and have it specialized for yourself. If you're diabetic, you're going to need to have your medications. If you have seizures, if you have different types of medical issues, plan ahead and have a store of those medications that you need. But also think ahead. If you're going to be out in the wilderness long term for survival, backpacking, whatever, you might eat something rotten. You might drink something funky. So you're going to have to be able to treat the different types of sicknesses you can get from that. You might have infections. You might get sprains, strains, and all that, and have to have something for the pain. So having a good first aid kit with the medications is great, but having that knowledge of how to use them, there's nothing worse than having antibiotics and stuff, and then you're taking antibiotics when you should be taking something else, and it really messes your body. So if you're going to carry the medication, know how to use that medication. Also, I highly recommend going to an outdoor first aid course, because then when you're out there, you're going to cut yourself. You're going to have something fall on you. Hopefully you don't get animal bites, snake bites, things of that nature. But you're probably going to get a lot of sprains and strains, cuts, gashes, things. So have splints, have bandages, have triple antibiotic, different types of things. Okay, so anyway, the first C for care, have your first aid bag. I also keep a couple tourniquets in mind. You never know. The next C that I would also highly recommend is calories. Pre-packaged meals that are dense in calories. Because if I'm out for a long-term situation and I'm having to build a shelter or seek water, whatever the case may be, I'm going to be expending a lot of calories. So having something that's high dense in calories, I can eat it quickly, replenish myself, and keep that hard work while I'm setting up passive traps and things of that nature. So calories, having dehydrated meals, freeze-dried meals, whatever the case may be, to get that in your system, replenish yourself. And it's also a good stress reliever. There's nothing like having a rough day and it's having comfort food, which leads me to my third C, which is comfort. For me personally, I have a lot of people, we'll be watching alone, and I'll say, well, if I was them in that area, this is exactly what I would do. And they say, you would do great on this show. Well, me personally, I would suck. My ADD would kill me. I'd get in my head too much, and that's why a lot of these people fail, is because they miss their families and they are in their head way too much. So with my third C, with comfort, I have a tablet. I know the backpackers are going to lose their mind. I know the bushcrafters are going to lose their mind, but I have a tablet, and I have little memory cards that have movies, TV shows, books, survivalism videos, that teach you how to trap and stuff, because you may have the knowledge, but it's always good to have other things that you can always reference. I have wildlife books, plant identification books, all on my tablet. Now, because I have the tablet, I need to have some type of power charge. So then I have a battery bank, and then because I have a battery bank, I need something to charge that. So I have a portable solar panel. So that's the thing that I need for comfort. I also have backpacking gear that's lightweight, that's simple, and it's easy. For example, I have a sleep system that is a hammock or a tent, but whatever the case may be, I can have everything set up in a matter of minutes. And if I'm in a bug out situation where I'm in the wilderness for a long period of time, I can set this stuff up quickly, be comfortable, while I build my long-term shelters, while I build my long-term hunting items. So once those are built, I can take that down, pack it back in the bag, and move on, which I'll cover more in later videos. But anyway, so the 10 C's, the additional 3 that I added in, now that we have the idea of what to prioritize, shelter, water, food, we have the 13 items that will help us get those things and to set those things up with ease. Now we can start looking at my equipment. Now keep this in mind, this is my choice. It is my equipment. You may go with something totally different, but this is what I carry based off of the priorities, the rule of 3, as well as the 13 C's. So here in a little bit, we'll go bag dump, show you exactly what I carry, why I carry it, And then probably next weekend, I'll go out in the woods and set up camp and rock and roll. And that's what this video series will actually be. Me going out in the wilderness, setting up camp, showing different skills, showing different techniques, tarp shelters, hammock systems, tent systems, you name it. We're going to be covering a lot of different things that you can go out and practice. And that's what I want this video series to be. You take notes. If you like it, write it down. If you don't like it, throw it out the window, look at the next one. Now you have an idea of what you can do. You can go out with some items. You can go into your backyard. You can set up a tent in your backyard and practice making fire. You can practice cooking over a fire. There's different skills that you can do without ever having to go in the wilderness, but those are skills that you're going to need. So stay tuned. Continue watching, like, subscribe, all that good jazz, but hopefully this will set the pace and get you in the mindset of what to expect.